Hello everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. In this video, I would just like to share with you the inserts that I have recently listed on my Etsy store. These inserts are for 2018 and they are the Plan Like Marianne inserts, and this time the Plan Like Marianne is exactly like mine. It now has the grid background, the 4mm by 3.8mm grid. It's not exact, but it is an actual grid that you can use to line up the writing that you're going to do on your planner pages. And it also has the Hyperdex Extra as well. Now, the planner pack consists of the daily pages, the day on two pages, the side reminder tabs, which I am showing right here, and there are also going to be the tip-ins for the weekly task sheet, and I will show you later on in this video how to put them all together, just in case you're not yet familiar with these. And the way that I have listed these pages are, there's a separate listing for January 2018, and then one listing for February to March, one listing for April, May, and June, one listing for July, August, and September, and then one listing for October, November, December. I have separated the pages for January 2018 from the pages for February and March 2018 because people have already purchased the pages for October, November, December 2017, and that came with the January 2018 pages for free. So they might still want to use the pages that came for free with that particular purchase. So they won't have to spend for the January 2018 new Plan Like Marianne pages. They can just purchase the February to March. So I think that just makes sense. Other items that I also have on my Etsy store, aside from the Plan Like Marianne pages with the grid and the Hyperdex Extra, is a separate item for just the side reminder tabs, and these will match all of the Plan Like Marianne pages for this year. The side tabs are undated, of course, but it will match up with the lines of the grid. And another item that I have is a gridded paper for personal sized. And also another version for the Franklin Covey compact sized, which is a little bit wider than the personal sized of the Filofax. And of course, if you don't like printables, I also still have the Hyperdex Extra circles in my store, and you can choose if you want them dated in the center or not dated. And you can also choose if you want them in cream paper or in white paper. And for the rest, these are just the old pages for the last quarter of 2017 that I still have up. Well, it's mostly just November and December because I've already deactivated the October 2017 pages because they are no longer relevant. I also have this item up in my Etsy store. It's a perpetual inserts kind of thing. It is a day on one page and it is dated, but the way that you date it is you have to color in or highlight the squares pertaining to the year, the month, the day, and the day of the week. And that is how you specify the day. You don't have to write down the day by hand. All you need to do is really just color in the year, month, day, and day of the week that pertains to that particular day that you want to use the planner insert for. And there are also timed sections so you can put in all of your appointments for the day. So here I have a sample printed out. This is the day on two pages Plan Like Marianne with a grid and the Hyperdex Extra. But what I have printed out as an example are the ones without the icons. Now this is what you see that I'm using. I put up a video flip through of this every single month, and this would be, well, almost exactly the same. The only difference would be that you would have no icons if you don't want the icons. And if you want the icons, the version that I have up on my store as a listing would have slightly different icons, and I will show you later. So let us run through what are actually in these day on 2 pages. Well, first of all, there is a grid, like I have already mentioned, and then the Hyperdeck Extra, which has the date inside the very center of it. And the reason that I put the date in twice is that so you can take a picture of your hyperdeck for documentation purposes, and you won't have to manually label the day of it because the day is already there and it will be captured in the picture. And these smaller boxes right here on the right edge of the page are the guides for when you want to put in your side reminder tabs, and I will show you later how everything falls together. Now here is the version with the icons. As you can see, it looks exactly the same as the one without the icons. I mean, the layout is exactly the same, except that these ones have the icons. You have icons there for anniversaries and birthdays, what you have written if you have journaled, what book you have read, YouTube, TV shows, movies, weather, skincare, medication, weight, and exercise, and also for children, for spouses, for pets, for meal planning, and expenses and home chores. And the last two boxes there that have no icons on there, you can use for whatever you want. And then, of course, there are the 4 different boxes for the other side. That's for work, study, self, and other things, which is represented by a check mark. Now here are the side reminder tabs. Each sheet is also personal size, so you can cut them down and then punch holes in them and put them in your personal size planner. And there are 72 tabs on each page, but of course if you need more, you can just reprint the page that you need. And there are 10 different icons. There is for money, that's for travel, that is for anniversaries and birthdays in case you have to go to a party, and then 2 different icons for road trips. And then for self-care, I have the small mirror, and then the kids, pets, exercise, swimming, dentist, and doctor. And those blank boxes are also provided for you so that you can either stamp in or draw in whatever icon you want that is not yet in the set. You also get 72 of those blank side reminder tabs, and you can just reprint this as you need them. And these side reminder tabs are sized exactly to go into those guides in the daily pages that I showed you before, and I will show you later how I have put it together. So here's how to do it. First, we have to trim the pages down to personal sized. And I'm just going to be using an ordinary paper trimmer, nothing special about it. It's unbranded. I got it like a couple of months ago. It was very, very cheap, but it worked for me, so that's okay. Now, what I usually do is I trim the paper down to something that is closer to the crop lines. This is not yet personal sized, but I want to be able to cut the paper in such a way that the crop lines are much closer to the edge of the paper. I printed these on A4 sheets, that's why it's so big, but now that the crop lines are already at the edge of the paper, we can actually follow the crop lines and cut the pages down to personal sized. Now the way to do it is to align those crop marks with the guide or the ridge on your paper trimmer. Make sure that the 2 crop marks are aligned, and then cut down the page in such a way that you don't cut all the way through. And then you turn the paper over and do the same thing with the crop marks, and then trim the paper without cutting everything through. And then on the third side, you just do the same thing. Align the crop marks with a ridge on your paper trimmer, and make sure that you do not trim all the way through so that some parts of the crop marks are left for you to use as a guide and you can just trim it off all the way through when you're on the last side. And that is how you cut the pages down to a perfect personal sized. And like I have mentioned before, the margins of the inner sides are 12 millimeters wide to accommodate the hole punching. And now for the other page, for the page that goes onto the right of the spread, we are just going to do the same thing. We are going to cut the paper down into something that is closer to personal size but not quite personal sized. And then when the crop marks are already close to the edge of the paper, that is when we do our actual trimming to personal sized. Just run the blade across the line, but in such a way that it does not go through to the two ends of that particular slice, just so you can keep the crop marks connected to the paper so that you can continue to have a guide for cutting. And then when everything has already been cut on the first three sides, you can go on ahead and cut the paper all the way through on the last pass of the blade. And there you have it. This is the right page of the spread, and as you can see, the guides for where the side reminder tabs are going to go is very clearly aligned with the edge of the page. Now this is a benefit that you get if you print the inserts on bigger paper and then cut them down to personal sized afterwards. You don't get this if you print directly on paper that's already personal sized, especially if your printer does not print borderless. Just to give you an example, here are my pages that I use, which you have seen like a million times. I print on personal size Tomoe River paper, and my printer cannot print borderless, so the printer naturally does not print the entire thing. There is only a portion which it can print, so it ends there on where I am pointing with my finger, but it's still enough of a guide for me to use in placing these side reminder tabs on my daily pages. This is what happens when we print on pre-cut personal sized paper on a printer that does not print borderless. But if you have a printer that can print borderless pages, you can print on pre-cut personal sized pages and still it will come out exactly like that with the side reminder guides printed all the way through to the edge of the page. So that's just a note for you in case you're looking to buy a printer. Maybe you can ask if that printer can print borderless pages. And then after that, naturally, it's going to be hole punching time. I'm using just this old Franklin Covey hole punch for the compact that I purchased in 2013, and it's very old but still works well. And as you can see, the holes align exactly in the center of that 12 millimeter margin on the inner sides of the pages. And when we get to the side reminder tabs, we are going to cut it down with a pair of scissors. Oh, well, I think this is called fussy cutting because you cut by hand along all of the lines and the corners and the angles. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this called fussy cutting? So there, you just cut down along the lines the tab that you need, and then you just take your handy dandy glue stick, and sorry that I'm out of frame for this. I wasn't really looking at my monitor, but you just put the glue down on the back of the tab, but make sure that the glue is placed right about the area where the black bar falls. This way you don't put glue on the part of the tab that does not attach to the paper. And that is how to put a side reminder tab onto your Day on 2 Pages plan like Marianne. Now let's try another one. let's say you have to put in a side reminder tab for a day in which you have to take your pet to the vet. So you cut down that tab that pertains to the pet. In this case, it's that cute little dog icon. You fussy cut it, not sure if I'm using the right word, and then when everything has been cut down to the proper size, you just take your glue stick and then make sure that you're applying the glue only to the back part of the side reminder tabs that is aligned with a black bar, and then just put it onto the page using the guides that are already printed on the page. So easy peasy. Note that the black bar on the side reminder tabs have a function, and this function is so that just in case your edges of your daily pages look like this, like for instance, you can see a lot of tabs coming out, I have a lot of things to do, those black bars indicate that only 2 tabs pertain to that particular day that you have open in your planner. Because if we don't have that black bar there and we see all of those tabs, we might think that they all apply to the same day that we have the planner open. Like for instance, on this particular day, if I didn't have the black bars on there, I might look at the tabs and say, oh my god, I have so many things to do. But no, really, there's just 2 things that are to be done on that particular day. So really, it serves a purpose. The black bar on the side reminder tabs have that particular purpose. And the Plan Like Marianne set comes also with these sheets for use as a tip-in. And that is where you can write down all of the tasks that you have to do for a particular week, but you don't know yet for sure what day you want or can do them. Like for instance, in these pages that I'm showing, these are my tip-ins for the weekly task sheet. I usually append them to the edge or to the right edge of the Sunday spread, because my weeks always start on Mondays and end on Sundays, and if I attach it to the edge of the Sunday spread, if I flip from the Monday through Sunday, that tipped in sheet will remain visible, and as I flip through the days, I can still see what items I have written down in that tipped in sheet so that I can go ahead and decide what day I'm actually going to assign the task to. And it does serve another purpose. Like for instance, if all of the tip-ins are tipped out, I can clearly see across the weeks what things I have for those particular weeks. There's really no need to go through the days. I just need to see those weekly tasks that are on the tip-ins, and then I can get an idea of how my weeks are going to go. And the way to assemble this is to cut the page down to exactly personal sized pages, and the way we're going to cut it down is to use the same method that we used for the daily pages, and it's just going to be the same. And then when the sheet is cut down to personal size, you can either fold it or you can cut it down close to the box while leaving behind a small margin to match the rest of the areas around the box. And then you can attach it like so using some washi. Now, I think that this would be a more convenient way of doing things, because when you're done assigning the tasks on that sheet to particular days, then you don't really need to hang on to that tipped-in sheet. Having it attached with washi makes it easier for you to take it away and throw it away if you think you don't need it anymore, because it can add bulk to the pages of your archives. But you can also leave it in, of course. I always leave it in only because I never throw anything away. That's the only reason. And of course, if you leave it in, you have the back side of that tipped in sheet to write in more information, like more summaries, I think, or whatever you want to write down on the back side of that tip-in. And those are the Plan Like Marianne inserts that I have listed on my Etsy store for 2018. Please make sure that you read the entire description of each item before you decide to buy. And if you have any questions or if you have some things to clarify, please feel free to message me first before deciding to buy. And that's it. Thanks so much to everyone for continuing to support my store. I'm going to be having a giveaway from my store pretty soon, so watch out for that. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and click the little bell button so that you can get a notification once I have uploaded that particular giveaway. Thanks for watching. Bye!